Hello there, Mark Cunningham here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up some bank rules so you can reconcile your Stripe feed in Xero more quickly. Now in this video I use Australian dollar transactions, but the principle is the same for any currency, so you can use this video no matter which country's version of Xero you're using. And if you'd like to learn more about Xero, then check out the links to our courses in the description below. Okay, so a couple of things before we get started. I just need to point out that I already have my Stripe account connected to Xero, and the transactions we're going to reconcile have already come through an automatic feed. So I'm not going to show you how to do those things in this lesson. If you want to learn how to connect Stripe to Xero and get your transactions coming through an automatic feed, check out the other videos that I've got on my channel. Also, I'm using a live Xero file, so I do need to mask some information for security purposes. Okay, so the first transaction we're going to create a bank rule for is a sale that's been made through Stripe, so a Stripe sale transaction. And then the next one is going to be the fee that Stripe charges on that sale. And then finally, we're going to have a look at how to create a bank rule for Stripe payouts. So that's when the money comes out of your Stripe account and into your business bank account. Okay, so over here in Xero, I'm just on my bank accounts screen here. And what I've got here, this is the Stripe account that I've already set up. And this is a business bank account here, which is going to have the other side of the transfer or withdrawal or payout transaction. And the first thing we're going to do is go into the Stripe account and we're going to set up some bank rules for the sale and the fee. So I'll just click on Reconcile 3 items. Okay, so we're inside the Stripe feed now. And this first transaction is for a sale that we've made through Stripe. The second transaction is the fee that Stripe has charged. And the third transaction is the payout to our business bank account. So we'll start with the sale. And what we need to do to create a bank account is we need to find some sort of identifier within the data that comes through that we can use to base the fee on. So what I'll do is I'll click on Options and Create Bank Rule for this particular transaction. And you can see at the top here, it's going to create a receive money rule, which is right because we've received money. And Xero will basically have a guess as to what kind of information it should base the rule on. So when the rule should apply. So the first one here is the payee. And we don't want a rule based on the payee because for every single sale that we make, the payee is going to be different. It's going to be a different customer name, so we can't really base a rule on that. So what we can do is we can actually just come over to this crossover here and just delete that rule. And then the next one is we have the description. So you might be able to base your rule on the description. I'm not going to because the description usually relates to a particular product that you sell. And obviously you might have a whole lot of different products. So you can't really create a hard and fast rule for that one, at least for me anyway. So I'll delete that one. So the third one here is we have the reference. Now the reference, as you can see there, there's all kinds of numbers and letters in there. But for a sale that comes through Stripe, I know that it always starts with that CH and then the underscore there. So if I delete that, and then I change the reference from being equals to contains. So now every time a transaction comes through on the receive money side with the reference containing that CH underscore, this rule will apply. So that's a good one for me to base the rule on. So that's me sort of editing what Xero chose there. If you want to create other conditions, you can click on this condition button here. And then you can choose which field you want. So let's say, for example, I choose the analysis code. And then again, you can choose whether it equals or contains or starts with or is blank. And then you can put some sort of information in here to base the rule on. So you can do all kinds of things in there based on the data that comes through. You just have to play around with it and just see what suits. Okay, so the next thing to do is to set the contact. And for this one, the contact, it says you can set the payee from the bank, or you can add to an existing or new contact, or you can enter it yourself manually during the reconciliation. I'm going to set this to my contact being Stripe, But if you want, you can actually make it the payee from the bank if you want the contact in Xero to actually be the person or the company that bought something from you. So down here, automatically allocate fixed value line items. We don't need that one in this particular rule. So down here, we've got the remainder, which is the whole amount of the transaction because we didn't allocate any up here. So the sale was for $89 minus the fee. So that will be the amount that comes through down here. We can just put a description in and an account, and the tax rate should come through. So this is the general ledger side of the transaction. So for the description, I'm just going to say sale made through Stripe like that. If you want to put something different through, you can. For the general ledger account, I'm just going to choose the generic sales account. If you want to set up your own general ledger codes, you can go ahead and do that in your chart of accounts. In fact, you can click through to it there. If you want a specific general ledger account for your Stripe sales, for example, that tax rate has just come through automatically. And yes, I do want 100% of the money going to that particular line there. Okay, so setting the reference, you can see you've got all different options here to set the reference. Again, it's going to be something that you can choose. You can choose the reference that actually comes through with the data, or you can set it yourself during the bank rec process, for example. So I'll just choose that one, choose whatever you like. And then down here, this is an important one. You need to choose which actual bank accounts to run the rule on. So I only want to run it on this particular Stripe account. I don't want to run it on all my bank accounts, but you can go through and you can choose all bank accounts if you want to run the rule on all of the bank accounts that you've got set up, or you can choose a different account there from the drop down. Now, as for the title, I'm going to call this one Stripe Sales. So that's just the name of the bank rule. So you can put whatever you like there, just something to help you identify it when it's in the list of rules. So that's all I want here. So I'm just going to click on save. Okay, and you can see it's taken me back to my Stripe feed here, my bank account, and it's identified that it needs to apply the rule to this particular bank statement line that's come through, and it's gone ahead and automatically created the general ledger code based on what we put in the rule. So you can see that from now on, when a sale transaction comes through that's similar to this, it will apply the bank rule automatically, and you can just go ahead and click OK. You don't actually have to go through the process of manually creating a general ledger transaction. All right, so we can click OK and reconcile that one. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a rule to reconcile the fee. So let's just have a look at the data that comes through here. You can see we've got Stripe related to, so that's just saying what sale it's related to. And then we've got this Stripe fee that comes through here. So if we click on more details, you can see that Stripe fee is actually the description. So that's going to be a good one to base the rule off. So let's just go into options and create bank rule. Okay, and this time it's creating a spend money rule, which is right. We're spending money, it's a fee. And once again, Xero has had a go at guessing what to actually base the rule on. So once again, I'll get rid of that payee one because that's not really relevant. The reference, I don't really want that either, but you can put that in there if you want, the same way that we did for the other fee. But really all we need is if the description equals Stripe fee, then we can apply this particular bank rule. So I'm just going to have that one stay in there. Okay, so down here for the contact, I'm going to put Stripe again. And then once again, we'll skip over step 3 here and we'll come down to the remainder. And for the description, I'll just say something like Stripe fee on transaction or Stripe fee on sale. That'd be a good one. And then for the account, I've actually got a bank fees general ledger code set up specifically for Stripe. So you can just use a generic bank fees account if you want, 406 bank fees if you've got that. But if you want to set up different ones for your different bank fees, you can, like I've done here. Okay, so we want all of the money to go into this particular line, so that's fine. And then for the reference, once again, just choose what you want there. I'll just say set by me. And once again, you can decide which bank account or accounts you want to run this rule on. I don't want it to run on every account, so I'll just leave it there as Stripe AUD. And then down here, I'll give the rule a title. So I'll just call it Stripe Fees, like that. And then click on Save. Okay, so that's worked. So that's applied the rule to that particular bank transaction. It's created the general ledger transaction over here. And in future, anytime a transaction comes through on the spent money side that has Stripe Fee as the description, it should go ahead and apply that rule. And then you can just come along and click OK and reconcile it. Okay, so the last one is the Stripe payout. So this is the Stripe account. So that's where the money's coming out of, and it's going into a different account. So what I'll do is I'll just duplicate my screen, and it comes into this Wise account here. Okay, so that's the other side of the transaction. You can see received money there for 173.26 and spent money there 173.26 again. So this is a transfer. This is not a sale or anything else. It's just a bank transfer from one account to the other, Stripe being a bank account. So what we want to do is create a rule, and then we want to go to transfer money rule. Okay, so once again, we can probably delete these top two up here. So where the description equals Stripe payout, we can create a transfer, and between the account being reconciled, and if we just choose that Wise account, which is where it went into, we can set a reference. I'll do that. In fact, I'll leave that from the reference. And then again, we can just target that one bank account. We just want to target our Stripe feed, so that's fine. And then I'll call this rule Stripe payout, like so. And I'll click on Save. Okay, so now anytime it sees a transaction that says Stripe payout that's spent money over here in this Stripe feed, it's going to apply that rule and create the general ledger side of the transaction for you. So that's done that. So we can just click on OK. Okay, so that's all reconciled now. The Stripe feed's done. So because we did one side of it, that's a transfer, we need to come back over and look at our other side. So all we need to do here is just refresh this bank feed by clicking on Reconcile. And you can see because we reconciled the other side of it, it's now recognizing this side of it too and doing the automatic matching. So we can just click on OK. All right, so that's all of the transactions done, all reconciled through bank rules that we've set up. We set up one for a Stripe sale, we set up one for the fee related to the sale, and we set up one for the Stripe payouts. So in future, when those types of transactions come into the Stripe feed, it should automatically pick it up. It should create the general ledger side of the transaction for you, and all you need to do is go through and click on OK to reconcile them all. And of course, don't forget to come over here to your business bank account and reconcile the other side of the Stripe payout. Okay, so that's how you can create some bank rules in Xero to help reconcile your Stripe feed a bit faster.